Benjamin Netanyahu comes from the Jabotinsky side of Zionism. There's nothing religious about that side of Zionism, and they have never pretended otherwise. Jabotinsky was the acme of a virulent nationalist movement. He was openly modeling his movement, of which Netanyahu is the heir, on the fascist formations in Italy, in Spain, and even in Germany. Jabotinsky spawned the likes of Menachem Begin and Yitzhak Shamir, who murdered British soldiers and civil servants in the King David Hotel, or hanging by wire in the orange groves around Jaffa. The people who murdered Count Bernadotte of Sweden, the United Nations Special Envoy to then Palestine. They murdered him in cold blood and then became Prime Minister of Israel. They murdered Lord Moyne from the British Parliament. They were narrowly thwarted several times in trying to murder Winston Churchill, even whilst Churchill battled with the Hitlerite hordes as the Prime Minister of Britain. A Spitfire pilot narrowly thwarted a bid to blow up the British Foreign Office. Modern-day terrorism was invented by the Jabotinsky, Shamir, Begin, Netanyahu side of Zionist politics. You don't need to know all that. You don't need to recall, as I unfortunately have and must recall, every blow that was struck in the terrorist campaign against Britain and against the Palestinian people, mounted by this noxious political movement. But the one thing you do need to remember is there was nothing religious about it. Indeed, the entire Zionist project was founded by people under the leadership of Theodor Herzl, who had no religion at all. Virtually every single one of them was a declared and avowed atheist. Why does that matter? It matters for two reasons, one historical and one contemporary this very day. It matters historically because all these atheists were united on only one thing. They didn't believe that God existed, but they believed that God promised them the land of the Palestinians that was called Palestine on every map. Every title deed of every square inch of land was entitled Palestine. The people who lived there, whether they were Muslims, Christians, or Jews, were all Palestinians. You can still see now on the iron covers of the drains the words Palestine. You could still see, until recent decades, post boxes marked Palestine, and indeed with the king's arms, the king's logo upon them. It's important contemporaneously because this is what Netanyahu, the party-going premier of Israel, said today. You must remember what Amalek has done to you, says our Holy Bible, says Netanyahu. He doesn't, of course, complete the quote, which I will, from Samuel 15:3. Quote, now go, attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, suckling, the verbs said, suckling infants, and their cattle and their sheep and their camels and their donkeys. So there you have it, Benjamin Netanyahu, using your money and with the support of your government, is going to kill all the men, women, children, suckling infants, cattle, sheep, camels and donkeys in the Gaza Strip. You comfortable with that?